Do you want to start?
Sure.
Okay, so what happened on the first day?
Like on the way to the airport?
Yeah, even what time did we leave?
We left around a little bit before 4 o'clock. And Katie and Cheryl took us to the airport up in Toronto.
Okay, our first flight.
It was Toronto to Iceland. It was an overnight flight.
Overnight.
We did not sleep at all. We took off so we left at 9 p.m. And then we got to Iceland with a 2-hour time difference at 6:20 a.m. And then we took off from Iceland at 7:40 a.m.
But yeah, the Iceland part, like there was nowhere to sit. So we kind of sat on a bench and we kind of sat on the floor.
Oh yeah, we sat on the floor, sat against the wall for a while and waited.
And we talked to that Icelandic woman who said that she would not come to Iceland in the summer.
Because it's all just the same thing. Brown and rainy and cloudy. And she prefers the winter, she said. Because at least it's different.
So then, yeah, we left Keflavik at 7:40 a.m. and then arrived at Brussels at 12:45 p.m. or around there. And I don't remember the Brussels airport like at all.
Yeah, because we went right down to the train station. So we didn't have to go do baggage.
We got cash. And then
Yeah, but that was by the baggage area.
Yeah. Did we have to do customs at all?
No, I don't think
I don't
we
remember
did.
customs.
Maybe they checked our passports.
In Brussels. I remember customs in Iceland, but not in Brussels.
In Iceland, they literally just checked the passports and then let you go.
So then the EU rail to Bruges, there was like an hour and 30.
Hour and a half, yeah, to get from Brussels to Bruges. And that was a nice train ride. It was fast.
Awful lot of graffiti everywhere.
Comfy. Yeah, Brussels, at least by the train station and by the airport, was not pretty.
Yeah.
At all. It was just very much like a big city.
That wasn't close. That wasn't close to the Brussels station that we were in later.
And yeah, no, that was by the airport.
Okay.
So then the station later, that was a different one.
Yeah, because Brussels had like Brussels Midi, Brussels Airport, and Brussels Central.
Flughafen?
Yeah.
Something like that.
So then we get to Bruges, and Sam was mad.
Oh, I was so
She
grumpy.
was grumpy.
I was tired because we didn't sleep at all on the flights, like at all. It was super, super uncomfortable, and it was an overnight flight, and it was just so silly.
And I almost got hit by a bicyclist.
And Scott's phone wasn't working. We did not have... Luckily, I did actually... I tried to download directions, but then we didn't have a map, and the street names are like crazy, so that like it looks like Magdalena Strasse looks so much like Magdalena Strasse. There's like an N difference, but then they're in totally different sections.
There was a lot of construction, so we didn't know where to walk.
And like traffic circle next to traffic circle next to traffic circle. So yeah, we didn't know where to go, and I was very grumpy about that. Hungry.
So we ended up finding, I don't know what you would call it, a tunnel. And bikes were coming out of the tunnel.
Oh, yeah. We had to cross the street, and it was like a crazy busy street. So we were like, would we just run?
It was a nice area.
It wasn't bad. No, it wasn't a bad area.
Then the hotel was nice.
It was nice.
The people behind the counter were very nice.
Everybody, spoke English, very well.
Yeah. And the room was fine. It was like really close to the next door neighbor's house.
Oh, yeah. We could look right out onto their backyard, and they had a little patio and sitting chair and stuff.
Yeah, but otherwise the room was nice.
No air conditioning. Luckily, it wasn't hot.
Like anywhere.
Yeah.
And it was kind of hot because I slept in my underwear for the entire trip. Because all that was there was the huge blankets.
I thought it was a comfy bed. We had a lot of pillows.
So that first night, we got frites, right? That's what we did? We walked out. First night, we
were
needed to get food.
Super tired, but we were also absolutely starving.
So I think the first thing we ate in Bruges was the cheese plate at the T Bruges de Bruges. I don't know how to pronounce that restaurant, but
where is it? The T Bruges
Bruges,
something like that.
But that was the first thing we had was a cheese plate.
Because all the restaurants looked like the food just didn't sound appealing at all. So then we just went for the beer. And then luckily at the bar, that was a Rick Steves suggestion, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They had a cheese board with cheese and bread. Did they have anything else? Oh, and like a salad. It was kind of weird.
Oh, and there was some jam.
But it was very
in there
good.
Too. There was like a jam.
Yeah. Cheese accoutrement. And I got I think I got the lambic. Or no, Creek. I got the Creek.
The Max Creek.
And there was the menu for the beer was like 3 times the size of any food menu that we saw. We got a cheese plate, and that was it. And then the beers.
And then that night we walked and got frites, right?
Yeah, we went to the Grote Market. And the Belfry was closed. So then we tried the 1900 frites, which was like right in the central marketplace.
1900.
Yeah. It was in like one of the really old buildings right in the market. And they were not good. They had like 10 different dips, all of them made with mayonnaise, I think. But they weren't even like good for like American French fries.
Like done.
No, they were. They just weren't they were not anything special at all. They were, and the dips were not even that great. Scott got like a beer dip.
Oh yeah, the beer dip.
A beer gravy.
And then like a Big Mac dip.
And that it was like an onion and mayonnaise and something else.
Oh, that would be a Whopper dip.
And it was not. It just they were not great. We were definitely disappointed in the Belgian frites at that moment.
And that was about it for the night.
No, and then we walked. We just walked a bunch. Oh, and so we walked all around the main marketplace area and just some of the side streets trying to like get our bearings. And then that's when I got the hazelnut ice cream. I got some Belgian ice cream that day.
Was that the first night?
Mm-hmm. We walked like 6 to 7 miles.
Where'd you get the hazelnut ice cream from?
Just that little one of the side streets when we would walk into the market. Like
that was right next to where we got the sunblock.
Yeah, I don't think we did it that. Did we get the sunblock that day? I don't think we did.
Okay. I
didn't write it, but yeah. And we just kept walking because we wanted to do this Bruges at night tour, which was supposed to be like the darker side of Bruges, but it didn't start until 9:30.
Was that the first night?
That was the first night. So we got in at like 4 o'clock, and we were debating taking a nap. And I was like, if we nap, we're never going to wake up. Yeah. Like, we're just going to sleep. So, and we said we wanted to do the Belgium at night, or the Bruges at night tour. So we just walked and walked. It was 7 miles, waiting for the tour to, just checking things out, but waiting for the tour to start.
And then
we sat down at the main area, like the statue in the Grote Market, and we both just felt terrible. I kept getting dizzy, and Scott's head hurt.
Yeah.
So, and that was at 7:30. And we just decided that we were not going to make it to 9:30 at all. So we decided to walk back to the hotel, which was actually kind of a hike. I mean, they said 10 minutes to the main central area.
Yeah.
But that was where the shopping started. But then to actually get to the central, to Grote Market or the Belfry, it was more 15, 20 minutes. And that was at a fast walk.
It wasn't a bad walk.
No.
We walked through that gate.
Yeah. We got to see the gate from the 1400s. That was the original gate into the city. It was big and made of stone. It was beautiful. And we got to just see, all the little shops. There were lots of people on bikes that day, crazy on bikes. Everybody was very well dressed too. That was the area probably of the whole trip where I was oh, all the girls are in cute little dresses and little hats. When everybody told me you have to dress up for Europe, that was really the only place where I felt oh yeah, no, we do. We have to dress up for Europe. But it was only really there. Just a quaint little town, and everybody was fancy. And then as soon as we got to the hotel, Scott literally
crashed.
Laid on the bed.
Fell asleep.
And
That's
he literally fell face first on the bed and then fell asleep. Just was sleeping. Yeah. So I woke him up and he got ready for bed. And then he woke me up at 12:30 because he had a really, really bad headache. Yeah. And then he fell right to sleep. That. And then I was up for 3 hours after that.
Yeah, it did. I had a bad headache.
Yeah. But then that next day, it looks like we got up early. We got up at 8. Yeah. We didn't want to miss any of the day.
Yeah, we had breakfast.
Breakfast at the hotel, which was actually good. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was okay.
I mean, it filled me up. It was they had cereal and oatmeal and yogurt.
And deli meat.
And yeah, they had deli meat,
cheese.
like bread with meat and cheese. Hard-boiled eggs they had there. I didn't have one, though. But it was, we had yogurt, and I had granola and like a sandwich every morning. It was a lot of meat, bread, and cheese.
Yeah.
Meat, bread, and cheese every day.
We did a lot on this second day.
We did. It was very,
As I'm looking over, we did a lot. Holy cow.
Yeah, so... Yeah, we were up at 8, and we actually made it out of the hotel. We grabbed the camera, and we made it out by 9:30.
Okay.
And then it was, again, that was like it was a 20-minute walk, basically. And we had to get to the canal tour. Mm-hmm. We had our canal tour at 10.
At 10 o'clock, yeah.
We made it literally at 10, like 10 o'clock.
But we still waited. We waited on the bench until it filled up.
Yes, we did. But that was nice, because we got to see even just an area that we hadn't seen. Because we walked a lot the day before. Yeah. But it was... We kind of stayed close to the Central Market because we didn't want to get lost. And again, we were waiting for the tour that we didn't do that was at the Central Market. So we went on the canal tour, and it was nice. The guide spoke French, and I'm going to assume probably German too.
Yeah, it went French and English though. But the whole tour was in French and then English. But
he spoke very quickly in English, and it was. It's on a microphone,
and
so it was harder
right
to understand.
next to the motor too.
Yeah.
It's like you could barely hear things. You would hear every once in a while a year.
But the canal was beautiful, and to see all of the old buildings, even just from that different angle, was really cool. Going under all the bridges was beautiful. And you really do get a sense of all the different areas of Bruges. So I thought that was really cool. And it was like a 45-minute tour.
Yeah, it's about right. 30 or 45-minute tour.
And really, they went from like one end of the canals all the way to the other end of the canals.
Then right after the tour, we went and saw the bridge. Like the 13th century bridge that Rick Steves was on in the Bruges episode.
No.
Didn't we? No. We walked right from there.
Nope, we walked
through the
right
little garden
from there
to the bridge.
To the belfry.
No, we walked to the bridge first.
Nope.
Because I remember pointing it out like, well, it's right there.
I don't know. I actually wrote first we got lunch, but we didn't. No, I said nope. First we climbed the belfry, all 366 stairs after an hour wait. We had to wait in line on that one. And it wasn't even a long line, but because it's so narrow, the stairs are so narrow that they can only, like, it's hard for people to get by each other if people are going up and people are going down. So they really have to limit the number of people. So we waited about an hour, which stunk because I really had to pee. So I knew exactly how long that took.
So then we went up the stairs, and I was having height difficulties.
Oh yeah, he was terrified.
But we saw we saw the big bell. We saw
those big treasure chests.
Oh yeah, the chest
with like 9 locks on them, 9 or 11, something like that.
Because all the nobility of the area had to open the chest at the same time for the
treasure inside, or the relics.
It was the town charter.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, for the town documents.
So that was nice because it was 366 steps, but then they would have these landings and like these areas where you would go you could walk in and it was like a break and you could read about some of the history and then go up. And you really needed that because the stairs were so narrow. I'm going to say 2 feet wide.
You're holding your hands apart 18 inches.
Okay, so between 1.5 feet and 2 feet wide, and it was a spiral staircase. And of course, the stairs were like stone, so they were super worn.
Yeah.
And there was no railing, but they did have like a piece of
a rope. Yeah.
That they had attached to like the central post because there was just no. So it was very, it was a little bit scary, but it was really cool.
And then from the top, we saw the carillon first.
The piano-y thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Nobody was in there. Somebody was working on it.
Yeah.
But nobody was playing it at that point.
Oh, and we saw the big wheel. The wheel that plays the melodies on its own. So that where they knock in the teeth on the wheel and it plays it like a big music box.
We saw a little bit of that.
Yeah.
It actually played or rang or whatever when we were up there. So that was cool.
Over the enclosure.
Some of the bells rang when we were up at the top.
Yeah.
And that was the top was inside. And then on out each window, like marked into the stone was what you were like, each direction you were looking and what towns were there and how far away they were.
Yeah.
Which was really neat to
like Antwerp or Berlin or Paris.
Yeah. So that was neat to look out the window, and not that you could see that far, obviously, in any direction. It was kind of cloudy-ish.
Yeah, it was cloudy. It was raining.
Oh, it was raining.
While we were up there.
Yes.
Because we had to take out the umbrellas when we came back down.
And that was that our first experience where we had to pay for the bathroom? I think it was.
Yeah. It was €1. No, it was 50 cents.
50 cents, yes. But it was an extremely clean bathroom.
Yeah.
It was very nice. It smelled good. Everything was clean. But yes, that was our first experience where we had to pay for a public bathroom.
And that was, then we went to lunch.
Yes. We just kind of walked. We wanted to walk until we found a place to eat, because we didn't want to just
cafe. It was Guild Cafe.
Oh no.
It was something like that. Something Cafe de Guild.
It was kind of like not super off the beaten path, but it wasn't in the main square.
But it was behind the Belfry.
Behind the Belfry, and then down the street a little bit.
Yeah. Cafe, I have an untapped check-in from there.
Oh.
Where I can tell you exactly where it is. But I got the Flemish stew.
We did. We wanted to be brave and do authentic. And I think that was like even the category it was under. Authentic Flemish meals. So.
And you got the chicken, almost like a chicken and biscuits, like a chicken pastry.
And puff pastry is what they called it, yeah. A chicken and puff pastry.
And we both had a Belgian triple. It was at, Cafe de Guilde, Gilde. And we both had the Bruges triple, which was a gruet, or an ancient herbed ale. And I said I wasn't a fan of everything going on with this one.
For me, it was too strong. I couldn't finish it.
But the frites were great.
Yes. It just came so we both got our food, it was a huge plate of food. They looked delicious. And then this giant bowl of fries. And they were spectacular.
Yeah.
Even just, and all the dipping sauce was just mayonnaise, right?
Just mayonnaise.
And they were so good. They were delicious French fries, or frites.
Frites.
Belgian frites.
Yeah.
So I was happy to not be disappointed with the French fries. I wasn't expecting a lot, and then I had them, and they were delicious.
Here's a picture of the fries.
Yes,
at Cafe de Guilde.
I don't even know. I know I didn't finish my food, and I hated that, but I couldn't finish. I was stuffed.
Yeah, no, I finished mine.
You did.
My Flemish stew. I even ate the salad next to it.
Yes.
And then we walked to De Havman.
Yes, we were supposed to have
the XL tour.
The XL tour.
Yeah.
But it was raining, so when we got there, of course, it was full. And the guy said that it was full. The XL tour specifically was full for the whole day. It was booked up. So
we walked to see the Madonna statue.
We did.
The Michelangelo Madonna statue.
As we were walking around, because I think he had said that there was an English tour later.
Yeah.
So we had some time to kill.
Well, he said there was a 3:00 tour, not knowing that was a French one.
Oh, yeah. So we had some time.
Yeah, so we went to see the Madonna, and we didn't take any pictures of that, obviously, because we were in a church.
Yeah, so that was one of the very few Michelangelos to actually be outside of Italy. So it was kind of cool that we got to see that.
And Rick Steves said the only one to leave Italy during Michelangelo's lifetime.
And there were amazing paintings. They had a bunch of crypts, even things that were under the church, under the floor. They had a clear glass floor and mirrors, so we could see into the crypts with it seemed very
medieval?
Simple.
They're medieval.
So yes, and I think even the statues were from the 1200s in that church. So all that
pre-Renaissance.
stuff was 1200s era, which was just cool to see.
Yeah. And then we went to see the bridge. No, then we went back to De Havman.
We did. And we found out that the English tour was at 4:00 and it was still raining.
Yeah.
But luckily, even in their like central patio area,
Their
they had
garden,
a big
cafe. What's the word I'm looking for? Courtyard.
Courtyard.
In their courtyard.
There were a few tables under the umbrellas or the awning, so we actually kind of sat with another. It turned out they were American couple. We didn't really chat much, but
And we called the kids.
we did. We sat and we had a beer and we waited for our 4:00 tour.
Which was awesome. The 4:00 tour, it started in the room where she was explaining how beer is made, and I rolled my eyes like, oh, I hope that's not what this tour is. And then she took us through the brewery and explained, like the 150-year-old history of the brewery, like 6 generations.
And it was all the old, like we got to see all of the old areas that they use, because they don't, most of the areas we saw are not actually currently being used to brew the beer. So, they showed us all of the old equipment and the old fermenting chambers. And what was that one room where it was the holes in the ground? Were those fermenting chambers too?
The holes in the ground, like the big tanks?
The big tanks, like holding
with
tanks.
open air fermentation.
And all that stuff was intact, but just not currently being used. So that was really neat to see, going up like ladders where you had to go down backwards because they were so steep. Yeah,
like submarine ladders. They built the pipeline, which is why a lot of that is no longer being used, because it's being piped to their second facility outside of the city, like 3-point-something kilometers away. And then after that, we had our blonde.
Our free beer.
We had our free beer.
And used the free bathrooms.
That was when we walked to the bridge.
We did. I said we took a long wandering walk after that.
To the bridge and to the windmills.
Yes. So we went through some areas that were obviously not
just more
central.
Residential.
Yes. Some of the areas were a little, I feel like that one bar we saw.
Oh, yeah. What's the name of that bar? Because we were going to go back.
It was the end of the tour that we wanted to take. And it was really far away from our hotel. And it looked like super divey and just kind of icky.
Yeah, I should remember the name of that bar, but I don't.
Me neither.
I didn't take a picture of it either, but...
The Bauhaus.
Was that what it was? Bauhaus?
Yeah, Bauhaus. Okay. So we saw that, and then we were like, oh, this is where the tour ends. Like, I don't know if we want to take that.
Maybe we won't do it.
But we got to go out, and we did see, it was neat to see some of, like, the bigger homes. You could tell that they were residential, wealthier areas with, like, lots of big lawns and, like, bigger homes, and some of them had, like, big backyards with, like, gardens, which was neat. But yeah, we got to see the river. It wasn't a canal; it was a river, and then the windmills were right next to it.
And the windmills. So because Bruges has a moat around it, so that was the moat, right?
The original kind of canal moat river system.
Then we went back to the beer place.
To Bruges beer.
Yeah, we went back.
We did,
and had more.
Because they had a really, not that the other places didn't have good beer, but that place really had an extensive list of things, and it was in order by like region, right? Yeah.
Oh, it was by region, and then by brewery, and then the beers that each brewery had. And I tried to keep to the Trappist beers, to the beers that actually brewed at monasteries. And there were a lot of them.
Yeah, there were.
And then we went back to the hotel.
Nope.
I have pictures of the hotel, so we must have went back to the hotel.
Well, we had one more beer, and we debated getting more cheese, but we didn't, because we wanted to, even though we had seen that bar where the tour ended, we still were thinking we wanted to do
the tour.
The walking tour. It was like the dark side of Bruges, and it was a night tour, and I thought, we could get some really beautiful pictures of Bruges at night.
And the weather was fairly nice at this point.
It was okay. I think it was drizzly. It was kind of drizzly all day, but we didn't have our raincoats with us, but we had umbrellas.
We had our umbrellas.
So,
but it was clearing up, and by the time the tour started, it had started to rain a little bit more,
and it was windy.
Because our tour guide was saying, I think it's gonna pass. I don't think it's gonna stay. It had just started raining.
Yes.
And then we went through some of the town, and I remember him saying things that I didn't think could possibly be right.
Right. Yeah.
Like it was
faced
or stone drunk, but it was stone drunk or faced, and faced being too drunk to move out of the way when somebody dumps a bucket.
Like the chamber pots, yeah.
Yeah, out of their window. And then he told a ghost story.
The ghost house of Bruges. So we were thinking it was going to be like this like dark tour with like lots of ghost stories, and he was like, this is the ghost house of Bruges. Like, and it was this story that didn't seem entirely plausible.
A monk and a nun
who met in a
tunnel under
the canal that they later found upon excavating that there was a tunnel under the canal between the monastery and the convent.
Yeah.
And it was like a secret love, and then she wouldn't leave because of her faith, and then he killed her. and then they both disappeared.
But he still wandered the halls of the nunnery, the convent, until
because he killed himself. Yeah,
they were exorcised. Until he was exorcised.
Yeah. So at that point,
till he could tell his story to an author, who made money off of a book.
But it was a long time ago, though.
There's a book, The Ghost House of Bruges, or something like that.
But it's written in Old English.
It's an Old English book.
It's an old book.
Yeah, look it up, he said. Look it up.
But at that point, Scott was in shorts and a t-shirt with no coat. We had our umbrellas. I was in like just a sweater.
Yeah.
And maybe I had leggings and a dress. And it was like windy, and it started raining harder, and it was cold. So we were like, we are going to sneak out of here. So we did.
We did before the timeshare presentation.
We did. Yeah. Before he walked us too far away from the hotel, because we did not want to have to walk an hour at like 11 o'clock at night in the in the kind of shadier neighborhood. In the rain and the cold. Like, it was cold. That was cold.
It was.
And my feet were soaked.
Yeah. And I think I had to pee.
Oh, yes. And we did have to pee. So we were like, you know what?
Like half running back to the hotel.
Yeah. And it seemed like a much longer walking back that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the next day was Brussels. Was it early?
Yeah. Well, we had breakfast at the hotel.
Oh, yeah,
breakfast. And then we packed up. So actually, it wasn't super early.
Because there was no rush to get to the train.
Yes.
Like, I had a 10:08 plan, and I'm pretty sure we got to the train. Oh, we got to the train station just in time for the 10:08 train, but then you waited in a bathroom line.
Yes, again.
So we took the 10:34 train or something like that.
Yeah. And again, that was a very nice train. I think it was one of the ICE trains.
Yeah.
What?
Nothing. I was remembering walking out of the train station in Brussels and being like, this is pretty terrible.
Yeah, there was.